Today we're going to talk a little bit about food labels. You've got several handouts here. The two that I want to use, one of them is in black and white, and the other one is in color. They say basically the same thing. I found this one kind of at the end of my morning, and decided that I kind of liked it better because it's simpler, it's less wordy, it's bulleted, and it's got some interesting ways of saying this is not very important, big X, marks out the percentage value, stuff like that. The first thing I'd like to say about labels in general is that if we're shopping around the periphery of the store, around the edges, and we're buying whole foods, this is not important because those things typically don't come with labels. Now, fruits and vegetables don't have labels on them. Fresh meats, unless they have some kind of preservative or they're processed meats, they don't have labels. Your dairy products, although they will have labels when they have things added to them, we pretty much know that you've got skim milk is what adults should have, and whole milk is for children 2 and under. And so those kinds of things, it's not, but if you're buying yogurt and there's fruit on the bottom, you might want to take a look at that label and see what kind of sugar is added to that stuff. If you're buying yogurt with any kind of flavor in it at all, look at the sugar content. So that's the first thing. If we shop on the borders, on the periphery of the grocery store, label reading's not as important. Once we get into the middle, where all the shelves are, the longer lasting products, that's where this stuff comes into play. In the middle of the store is where we find salt, preservatives, sugar, trans fats. All of that stuff lives in the middle. It's kind of like goblins living in the middle of the store. You have to walk through those aisles very carefully to avoid the goblins. So what they've done on this label lingo is they've broken this down into what's most important and what are things that are not so important to know. And you'll see as we go along why these not so important things are not so important as we read our way down the label. So the first one on here, this is the most important thing to know is the serving size, because often we think that we're eating a portion, and really something will be 2, 3, 4 portions. And I keep using this example because it's the only thing I've got in here today. But like this is a ocean spray. This right here is 4 portions of juice. Lots of times we'll find like Gatorades that are this size, and you might drink like a Gatorade or half a Gatorade after a workout. And you're looking at the calories, it's 110, 120 calories. By the time you finish that whole thing, you've just put all the calories back into your body that you worked off in your workout. And so if we're looking for a caloric deficit so that we can lose some pounds, that's not very productive. The other thing is, like, you can look at labels on this stuff right here, and without even getting to the complicated, you can look on the front and see it says cranberry, nice and big, and then under here it says juice cocktail. And typically they'll say what percentage of juice is in here. But if not, you can always look on the back and you can see that it's pretty much a lot of sugar and a little bit of juice. So first thing, how many servings am I looking at? And then when we know how many servings, then we can look at the calories. And that'll tell us in one serving, there are 60 calories. The second item we're going to look at is the fat, not just how much, but what kind of fat. We're looking at, is this a monounsaturated or a polyunsaturated fat from a plant? Or are we looking at a saturated fat from palm oil or animal products? And then the worst flag is the trans fat. So if you pick up a package and you see that there's trans fat in it, just put it back and go on to the next thing. Don't even consider, oh, it's only 1.5. Don't even consider it. If it's trans fat, it's bad. Put it back and look for a product that doesn't have it. More and more of the products on the shelves these days will say no trans fats, no hydrogenated oils. Those two things are used interchangeably, and you can just put it back and look for the one that doesn't have it. It's a form of fat that your body doesn't know what to do with, doesn't recognize it. as digestible, whereas even a saturated fat, at least you know how to process that metabolically. Cholesterol is another part of the fat equation. You'll only have cholesterol on a label if you're looking at an animal product. Cholesterol does not come from plants. So typically if you're eating something that doesn't have any animal product in it, you won't see cholesterol. Then we start looking at sodium. So for healthy individuals, our daily limit of sodium is 2,400 milligrams. So we'll want to look at that sodium content and see like what portion of that 2,400 am I getting in one serving. And again, 2,400 is like the most. It's not a goal. It's not like, percent value of vitamin A or vitamin C. We're not working towards 2,400. We have to stay under and as far under as possible. For adults over the age of 65 and people who have hypertension or high blood pressure, 1,500 milligrams, 1,000 milligrams less per day.